Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is a community cast sent in by LightningStrikes, and he's against Tallahassee. So that's right, we got two guys that I've recently casted on the channel against each other, which is pretty cool to see. So, LightningStrikes, yeah, he's playing Dark Elves. Okay, if you don't know, that's his thing. Just Dark Elves. He loves his Dark Elves. It's all about the Dark Elves. So he's playing Dark Elves. And Tallahassee is playing as Chaos, which is pretty cool. So I like this build. It is super high and tight, small and elite, but a lot of utility out of it. So here you can see the Blade to the Blood Queen. That's going to give Guardian to Malekith if he's nearby, but they're also just killing machines. They are absolute slaughterhouses. They're brutal. They're horrible. You don't want to fight them. You don't want to walk up to them at all. You don't want to be anywhere near these guys. With what are they called? Infantry. That's the one. Icon words. So infantry will just get slaughtered by these guys. And with the AP, they're going to be great against Chaos. Just absolutely superb. He's also got some Blackguard, so some elite anti-large. Very handy against potentially a lot of very large, scary targets that Chaos can bring. You know, Shaggoths and the like, good to have. Also, more Harga Executioners to help cut through even more Chaos Warriors and the like, and some Dread Spears on the ends. You know, it's nice to have a slightly wider army, have something that can just absorb any sort of missile fire, you know, from harassing Marauder Horsemen and things. It's good to have that on the edges, so, yeah, well worthwhile. Also, Sinesh's Harvesters, great spells. I mean, look at that. Soul Stealer and Word of Pain. Probably two of my favourite spells. And they have both of them for free, which is crazy. Also Malekith on a dragon, also with Soul Stealer. And Chill Wind to help slow things down. Very handy. But of course he does have the breath attacks, and he's friggin' Malekith, right? He's gonna kill stuff that he tries to kill. He's killy. I mean, this is all very small and elite, this army, so we're going to see that a lot. Also, Death Hag, great anti-infantry again, and poison. So, huge amount of anti-infantry, some elite anti-large to help, some lesser anti-large with some spears, and with Malekith in the air, I mean, there's not a huge amount of missiles, except these guys that are being chased around, but Malekith on a dragon, you're pretty safe doing that against Chaos. You don't need a huge amount of support, because frankly, I've been saying frankly a lot, guys. I'm aware of it. I'm trying to change, okay? I'm trying to change. Anyway, Malekith, safe in the air. He just is. He has so much support. He can use Soul Stealer if he's in a duel with anything to get his own health back. These guys can use Soul Stealer to damage the thing even more. Chaos can't heal, so that's all really detrimental. And if you've got a couple of Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, they can fire at the targets too, provided they're not being harassed quite so much. But these guys could hide behind their own lines, just let the Dread Spears just ward off any of the cavalry if they wanted. So here you can see Sinesh's Harvesters are going to charge down some of these Marauder Horsemasters. There's 3 units of Marauder Horsemasters and 2 Chaos Warhounds, one with poison, one without. So that's pretty scary as a sort of a cavalry force against what he's up against. So Tallahassee, he's got the right idea here. Also, he's got a Chaos Chariot over there, which is always nice to see. And he has some Chaos Marauders. Again, just cheap shields. Just cheap units with some shields. They do the job. So that's fine. Also, Chaos Warriors, Mirror Guard. Chaos Warriors are great weapons, Chaos Warriors are great weapons, and Chaos Warriors with halberds. So a lot of armor piercing too on this side, and a lot of armor, because basically everything that the Dark Elves have with a lot of armor piercing is also armored. So you're countering each other. So you may as well go with the cheaper ones, I think. And there's some armor sundering here as well, which is pretty cool. The Weird Spawn, I think they're pretty cool units. They can get a lot of damage in, but when you've got so much armor piercing, I mean, it will definitely help out the Mirror Guard. So, actually, that's a pretty great synergy. And also, speaking of Mirror Guard, yep, they're Sigvold's bodyguard, and this is not Sigvold. Where's Sigvold? Here he is. Speaking of Mirror Guard, we have Sigvold the Magnificent. Tallahassee, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, Sigvold still sucks. He regenerates. That's about it. I'll sit and fight. Not a huge amount of AP. Quite good weapon strength, though. I'll sit and fight stuff for a while. Not really any utility, to be honest. But hey, Sigvold's here. Yay. And a Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows. Yay. Shadows, I think, is great. You know, that armor sundering for the withering. Melkoth's really good for slowing stuff down. Like these guys over these guys and these guys. So that's nice. Also, it will whittle away things as well. Enough Melkoths, it will take out a unit of Blackguard eventually. You know, it's quite a cheap spell, you can use it quite a lot, but Enfeebling Foe is really going to help. It's going to help these guys land more hits. So, I like that. I like that a lot. Speeding things up. Oh yeah, and Dark Riders. So, this is going to go on for a bit, this sort of fight. So, Tenacious Harvesters have already used a Soul Stealer on these guys to get their health back up, because they want the health to be nice and high, so it lets them use Word of Pain and things. If they go below 50% health, they can't use those free spells anymore. So, he's keeping himself going, and getting some damage into the Marauder Horsemasters, so they can get picked off a little bit quicker. So Malekith is having to charge in here to try and help, because these guys don't have 360 firing arcs. They have to be facing the unit they're attacking. So Tallahassee was wise just to have these guys keep chasing. As long as these guys are running away, they're suffering, and if they were caught out, they lose in melee to the Horsemasters. So yeah, it makes it tough. You've got to bring backup. So here, you can see Tenacious Harvesters are fighting all this noise, but this is great for the Chaos Warhounds. This is a real win for Chaos. These guys don't need any AP. Chaos Warhounds don't really have any, but being able to poison these guys, you can just drag a lot of them down. They have no armor, so they're going to suffer a lot of damage. So such cheap units as the Chaos Warhounds, this is pretty great. It's a great way to get some great damage into Tenacious Harvesters. Here, though, Malekith is really overextended. He's on his own over here. None of this front line has moved up yet. And these Marauder Horsemasters are still running around being a nuisance. So these crossbowmen, they're going to need to be able to finish these guys up quickly, or they're just going to harass all day. And now, the Chaos Warhounds are running back in, as well as the ones with poison. He's going to get withered. And frankly, damn it, I said it again. Malekith has just no armor, really. 80 for a Lord. It's not a huge amount for a, a big, beat people up kind of scary guy. Which is, a very eloquent way for me to put it, of course. It's not great. So Withering, putting him down to 50, those hounds are going to get some good damage into him. And he's trying to counter that. So LightningStrikes is using a Soul Stealer to basically kill all of this stuff. Well, do some damage to all of it, but mostly to get his health up. He needs to get his health back up while this stuff moves in. But LightningStrikes has been pretty slow to move here. This is... I'm afraid to say, this is often the case. He'll play too conservatively sometimes. Being conservative is great. He's able to catch out a load of very valuable units that are really going to muck up his strategy. But it's sometimes at a bit of a too steep a cost, I feel. Having Malekith caught out like this is crazy bad. That's not what you want to happen at all. That is really bad. And that wouldn't have happened if his front line had moved up. And there was no reason for his front line not to move up. It would have just meant that the Marauder Horsemasters would have had less space, and this front line can easily destroy this front line, so you can just move it forwards. And it's going to limit the amount of time these Marauder Horsemasters have to kill anything. Sure, he caught them all out, but Marauder Horsemasters, when you compare them to the cost of Malekith, and the Tenacious Harvesters, and... wow, and the Dark Riders repeater crossbows, it's not worth it. It's not worth playing that game. You may as well just move up and have all your big strong units just start smashing stuff. You might as well get them involved quicker. Sometimes too conservative, but it's still Dark Elves, so yeah, they're very good. The Dark Elves, I know, it's crazy. Anyway, so load more spells on all of these guys. Malekith has managed to get some of his health back up. A Overcast Withering has been used on this entire line, and here you can see Prince Sigvold is basically failing to fight this Death Hag. He's having a bad time. He's taking a lot of damage. And over here you can see the Dark Riders are going to park up right next to these guys and then get a nice little charge. On the charge, they do have better stats. They will have better stats if they can get the charge off. And it's a much healthier unit, so they're able to rout them off nice and quickly. So that is great. Like I said, sometimes too conservative, but this was great. This was aggressive when you needed to be aggressive and just shut them down nice and quickly. Same's happened in the back. These Dark Riders have gotten in, and suddenly a load of units are really struggling. These Halberds, they got taken out very quickly, so they're now running away, and the Dark Rider repeater crossbows can make sure they don't come back. So Tenacious Harvesters, they did charge in, but they were below 50% health. So you may as well just get them in and start poisoning stuff in the front line to help the rest of your front line out. Over here, you can see these Hargneth Executioners are struggling a bit because the Chaos Chariots can just keep running through them. Over here, this is sort of a moot point. It's Dread Spears versus Marauders. That's never really going to swing the battle, so who cares? They'll just sit there fighting forever. They've just cancelled each other out. But in the front line, you can see the Blades of the Blood Queen are still fighting. The Black Guard do seem to be failing against these units. But there's no more armor sundering here. Oh, no, there is a little bit. There's still 2 Chaos Spawn. So there's not a huge amount of armor sundering left. But it's helping. So Dark Riders apparently just parking right next to the enemy unit again. But they're going to move back and try and deal with the Halberds again in a second, I believe. Death Hag doing a wonderful job. These guys have shattered, which is unbelievable. And, yep, running out of armor-piercing units here. There's still the great weapons. But that's just one unit in Chaos Warriors of Great Weapons. Against a Death Hag, the Blades of the Blood Queen, and some extra backup. Doesn't look great for them. It just does not look great. Over here, Malekith easily able to deal with the Chaos Chariot. Because, yeah, thanks to Soul Stealer, he was able to survive. He was able to get back up to enough health to be able to do his thing. And all the units that could have possibly threatened him, well, there's some actually. But let's be honest, they're not going to do a huge amount. Yeah, they're shattered. All the units that could threaten him, they're off the table. So he can do what he likes. He can just pick a target and go for it. You know, anything that's not suited for fighting Malekith, Malekith will just win against. And he can pick where to go to find those engagements. So it's pretty brutal. Over here, though, these Dark Riders repeater crossbows, they're pretty much just keeping this stuff at bay. He will probably lose these Dark Riders, but it's allowing Sigvold to get completely butchered here. The Death Hag, killing him to pieces. Blades of the Blood Queen, also great counters to Sigvold. I mean, he's got heavy armor, not a lot of armor piercing, and he's infantry. These guys have armor piercing, and have anti-infantry. It's just not good for Sigvold. No amount of regeneration is going to help you through all that. So, Pyrrhic victory. So yeah, great fight. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot. You know, bit of toing and froing at the start, which honestly I think LightningStrikes, just run at them sometimes, please. Just your front line could have smashed his so easily, and it would have actually given you more respite. But I mean, it still worked out. That front line was just perfectly suited for dealing with this one. Tallahassee, I think. Such a bold pick going with Sigvold. I think this could have been very, very different if he'd brought Sartorial instead. I mean, just, yeah, there were a load of Soul Stealers, but hey, just match them with a load of, what are they called? Final Transmutations. There we go. Just match it with a couple of Final Transmutations, and yeah, good luck managing to pin down Sartorial. He's just going to hop around like a lunatic for ages. It's going to be very difficult. You know, Malekith, we saw there were the tools to shut down Malekith very quickly there. So if he did try and jump down and kill something like Sartorial, all the hounds could just charge him, everything could charge him. It just, Malekith would get beaten up again. And Sartorial with his crazy heavy mass could just carry on hopping through all of these units that wouldn't be able to pin him down and get a load of value. So, yeah, just Sigvold's rubbish. I'm sorry, he's just bad. It's just, yeah, Tallahassee, bold move, and credit to you for that. But God, it made him suffer. Look at that, 28 kills. He just doesn't get the work done. I mean, I don't care how pretty he is. It doesn't matter. Just, he needs help. He got some buffs in this patch, but I think he's more expensive again. It's just, he just needs to do something that the other lords can't. That's better. Like, regeneration, it's not enough. He has no utility. He's there just to not die for a bit. But when you're against Dark Elves that can have a load of armor piercing and anti-infantry for the rest of your army, Sigvold's going to get killed by the same counters to the rest of your army. So you're not... Ugh! It's frustrating. I'm not frustrated at Tallahassee for bringing him. I think it's hilarious to, you know, sort of bring the thematic thing of the Mirror Guard plus Sigvold. I think that's great, but God, Sigvold just sucks. I just really want to see him perform better. I just want him to have something. So, CA, please patch. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the army, I think, was really solid. I mean, the chariot's super useful for running through all the armoured infantry, really help whittle this stuff down. Marauder Horsemasters, I think, are really useful because they can sort of out-skirmish the skirmishes of the Dark Elves. So, I like that. Obviously, when Malekith gets involved, yeah, it's a bit risky, but apparently it's very risky for Malekith, so, you know, there is that. So, beautiful game. Really well played by both of these guys. And, yeah, I guess that's it. If you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.